this time, light workers have particular challenges, and let's look at what they are. First of all, I am surprised at how suddenly, over the last 1.5 to 2 years, people in front of me in audiences have built up 2 things. Number 1, heavy metal toxicity. Number 2, allergies as a result of the heavy metal toxicity. I am amazed at the lead that is there. I'm not amazed at the mercury, which comes from amalgam teeth fillings, that is there. And also cadmium. And I had always assumed that cadmium is mostly in people that have smoked marijuana, but I'm finding it in people that have never smoked anything of the kind. And what cadmium is coming from often are porcelain teeth fillings. So, and ceramics. So the other thing to consider is, how do we get rid of the metals? Because when our systems are overburdened with these metals, then what happens is we become allergic. And I wish to speak with you about that, but I want to preface this discussion with the following insight. People say to me often, Almine, why are you writing books on how to heal disease, when on the other hand you say that there is no such thing as disease? There is value in the play, my beloved brothers and sisters. Disease is a steering mechanism. It steers the play the way a conductor conducts an orchestra. Except this music is ad lib and has never before been heard, received, or composed by you, much the way that the music that I bring to you is received. It's spontaneously laid out in voice and in instrument. So we are looking at a value to these things. They don't have to be so pronounced. In fact, they possibly eventually don't have to be there at all. But as long as we are not fully joined in our opposites, we cannot see properly. We cannot hear properly the depth of our being that is the current at one with the ocean. For this reason, slight little manifestations in your body can prompt the change, as long as you don't believe that you're sick. As long as you say, thank you, I got the message, and now move on. We dance the dance, even though we know that we are the motionless spectator as well as the choreographer. We deal with the illness as though it is there, knowing that it is not. It is trying to teach us something, and the minute it does, it will be gone. Therefore, don't label yourself, oh, I'm a diabetic, oh, I am a cancer survivor, or I am this or that. No, those are symptoms you have chosen to use as a label. If you put in place in your life the things that they are trying to remind you to express, they are gone in an instant. So the information we are bringing you is how to dance the dance with these things long enough so that you can get the insight. To look now at allergies. People associate allergies with runny noses, stuffy sinuses, with blotchy, itchy patches on their skin. But there are so many reactions that your body would have to something that you are allergic to, you cannot even begin to imagine. For example, you might be allergic to rice, to potatoes, to something you really like fish or chicken, or even broccoli that you might consider healthful. When you eat it, it brings contraction within the GI tract, everything tightens up, and now you have constipation. It might bring, on the other hand, diarrhea. If it is really irritating the GI tract, it might bring insomnia, and most of all, psychological feelings of tremendous angst, a sudden sadness that you don't know where it's coming from, a sudden hopelessness, but most of all, anxiety. These could all be due to allergies. Sometimes children will not sleep through the night because there is so much adrenaline in their body because they were allergic to the very soap that you bathed them in before you put them to bed, to something healthful that they ate at supper. It takes a while for the adrenaline to squirt into the bloodstream, but when it does, it's interpreted as an emergency. It also could give bad dreams to someone. Now, the metals. What to do about them? The most commonly recommended thing, because you can of course have it done in a quicker way by having chelation therapy. But if you do, they must test the strength of the kidneys to make absolutely sure that you can handle it. But chelation therapy is done with an IV drip, an intravenous drip. It will chelate it out much quicker. But here is the milder and less expensive way to do this. You need as much vitamin C a day as you can handle. Minimum 1,000 milligram of vitamin C a day, preferably 2,000 or 3,000, but you want to take it not near bedtime, so no later than about 5, 6 o'clock, and you want to take it in a way that does not make you get diarrhea. So you start with 1,000, you use it for a while, and then you try another 1,000, and you make sure that this is not producing the loss of nutrients through diarrhea. Vitamin C in high dosages chelates out metals. Secondly, you would like to use chlorella, spirulina, blue-green algae. Just be aware that it is contraindicated with vitamin C. So if you have vitamin C one day, you should use that the next day. That has the benefit of not only pulling out heavy metals, but also radiation, which is another topic I wanted to look at. We have chlorella's downside is that it will cause constipation. So there are ways to modify that. If you use a good chelated magnesium on the day, that means like magnesium glutamate, magnesium citramate, etc., that you could loosen the bowel enough as you take the chlorella that it's not a problem for you with your bowel. The reason so much of my talk is devoted to the GI tract is that there are tremendous problems for light workers lately with bowel movements. They either can't go at all, or they're going too many times, or there's dumping syndrome, which means it's as though the food just goes right through. That is because they've become allergic to the food. Now, we have another thing that would help get some of these heavy metals out, and that is the Bacana remedy, Toxex, that you can order through our office by contacting Jan in our Ohio office. When you use Toxex, I would highly recommend that you also use apohepat and ityrus. Apohepat makes sure that those metals don't lodge in the liver by the liver not functioning very well, because after all it's been in a toxic terrain. And the ityrus makes sure that it doesn't get stuck in the lymph glands. So you're pulling the metals all the way through by combining Toxex, apohepat, and ityrus. Use 20 drops 3 times a day of each of these, as far away from meals as possible. You can do the drops together in the bottom of a little cup, add a bit of pure water and drink it down, but don't let them come in contact with metals. They are spagyric homeopathics. They are extremely sensitive, and metals are counterproductive in their use.